everybody! Welcome to my channel and welcome back. Good to meet ya. I'm Megs and today I'm going to do a palette kind of overview of my eyeshadow palettes and also a declutter at the same time. Just a disclaimer, I'm not doing this to, I guess, brag about my collection at all, because I know a lot of people have to place that disclaimer, and I know I have a lot of makeup. I used to be a makeup artist years ago, but I also am a collector, and I just enjoy makeup, so I don't feel people need to have this much, so please don't feel like you have to, or that your collection is lacking in any way, shape, or form. So today, as I said, I'm going to go through my own collection. This helps me get reacquainted with what I have, but also it helps to determine what I need to purge. And then there's such a good feeling when, almost like a catharsis, you could say, when I get rid of stuff. So, and I'm going to start off with these two palettes. These are fairly new to my collection. I just bought these probably about maybe a month ago. They were on sale for like $2 or $2.50. One here is from Fenty. This is the Cadet palette. This is from their Snap collection or shadows. I love this kind of color story. I love those mustards and olives and teals. I have to say the pigmentation on this isn't the greatest. Let's maybe do it that way. There we go. You know, they're pretty good. I do enjoy Natasha Denona's mini pans better than this formulation, but I will keep it because I do enjoy the color story. Next one is from Dominique Cosmetics. This is the Celestial Storm. I received this last year in my lucky bag from Beautylish. And while I don't have anything from Dominique Cosmetics, this is an okay palette. I had this in my grunge and jewel tone palette video. I'll link it above. And you know, there's nothing in here that I think is all that unique. So I think I'm going to actually declutter this or maybe give it to someone who might appreciate this kind of color story, or who might like the formulation of Dominique Cosmetics. So I'm going to declutter this one. Okay, let's look at another one-off. This is from Kevyn Aucoin. This is the Nude Pop. This is a very purple-based nude color story. I think it's actually really beautiful. This color in particular is fairly unique. This color here is kind of an interesting color to pop into this nude movie palette, to be honest with you, but I do like the formula of this. It's not incredibly saturated or pigmented, they're a little bit more muted, but nonetheless, I do enjoy the quality of the Kevyn Aucoin, this palette in particular. Two from NARS. These two here, they're both limited edition. This is a Man Ray for NARS, the artistry. I love this. Look how beautiful like this is. And the color story is very jewel tone. Again, I talked about this in my grunge and jewel toned type palettes. I dropped this the other day, but these are really beautifully saturated. I enjoy those colors. And then my favorite palette of all my palettes and most used is this one. This is the NARS Wanted. This was a holiday palette, I think a couple of years ago, and I use this all the time. I love the colors in here. Yes, I know it's neutral, but I bring this everywhere with me, so this isn't going anywhere either. I'll be very sad when I have to actually get rid of that palette. This is a fairly new palette to my collection. This is from Artist Couture. This is the only thing I actually own from them. And this is the Supreme Nudes. Yes, I'm the person who keeps boxes. I love just the palette in general. I love like the beveled and the lacquered look to this. I love this kind of color story. This is like an everyday nude basic kind of bitch palette. I love this kind of mossy olivey green and this mustardy kind of brown and the golds and bronzes. This is my kind of a go-to type of palette, and the formulation is really nice. You'll have to, sorry about this, but it's pretty much stained. Do you remember these? Do you remember these Mega Pro from Surratt? Everyone had them. Every beauty YouTuber had them. I was a little bit late to it, but I do have one. This is the Mega Pro 4. Very pastel, muted kind of tones. And then you have some jewel tones over here. I feel like the pastels are very chalky and very powdery. There are a few pretty colors in here. This whole row here is just very blah. Honestly, I keep it. I don't know why I keep it. I just don't have any of the colors that are even similar to some of these pastels. So I'm going to see if I can work with it. If not, I'm getting rid of it. This next one is from Rare Beauty. This is their, what is it called? The Confident Energy. I love, like this, it feels nice and weighty. It's got a good weight to it. I love the packaging, the color story. I love this kind of chartreuse limey green down here, and the turquoisey kind of teal down here. This is like a tropical, like summer weather kind of color story that I associate with. I love it. I'm really, really quite impressed with the quality. I'm just going to try and bring in a little bit more. The quality of the Rare Beauty. I was quite impressed with it. So this isn't going anywhere either. Cherry on top, and I'm just going to bring it out. Blueberry Muffin. Cherry on top is from the Sweet Shop series. I have subsequently purchased 2 more from it. The bubblegum and pistachio. They're nice monochromatic colors. This is obviously the red tones. I was really surprised with BH this year. I had heard of BH previously, years and years and years now, and I really was never really interested until this year. This is another palette that is fantastic. This is the Blueberry Muffin. A lot of people have gone on and on and on about it, and I've talked about it as well. So these are fantastic. I also have the Avocado Toast coming to me. So neither one of these are going anywhere. Those are also fairly new to my collection. This is probably one of the more newer palettes in my collection. This is from Lethal. This is the Velvet Dusk palette. What's nice about Lethal is that they have a nice build your own palette, but also they have pre kind of formulated palettes. Again, like I said, this is the Velvet Dusk one. This kind of color drew me in. This teal color drew me in. This, like the whole palette itself was like a grungy palette, and I'm here for it. Beautiful formulation. I love their shadows. Really, really good. Let's talk about Lime Crime. So, I have a few Lime Crime palettes. Sorry. Here, so I have the Venus 1, Venus 2, and the Venus XS in silver and gold. These 2 are not going anywhere. These 2, however, I felt were like kind of dry, and I'm really not all that impressed. They are little quads of gold and silver. And yeah, I am actually going to get rid of them. This is a old old palette, which I can probably get rid of because I do find, obviously, like, powder shadows will last longer than anything else, as long as you keep, you know, somewhat clean your brushes and your fingers. But I find when I purchased this for these two colors here, because I did find that, oh, it was an interesting combination, but I do have these colors in my collection many times over, I'm sure. And there's no reason why I'm hanging on to it. There's no sentimental, like, attachment to it, so I can declutter this. The other thing I'm going to probably declutter is this one. This is the Amber ×9. These ×9 palettes are, they're good, but they're not great. I find the pigmentation dusty and kind of muted, a little chalky, a little dry. They're not a good representation of what their actual singles are like. In this particular palette, Rice Paper, and I believe this is Cork, are in their regular core, but the rest are not in this particular palette. But I have these colors over and over and over again, so there's no reason to hang on to them. So I am going to declutter and probably back to MAC this. This is a limited edition little palette. Let's bring you in for it. This was, I think, a summer. I do have a bronzer, I believe, from the same collection. I like this because of this particular color here, this green. Really beautiful green. It's like a blue green. The pigmentation's okay. It's softer. It's better than those 9 pans. I did like the combination. I don't have many green palettes. I'm going to get, as I mentioned earlier, the pistachio is on its way, but I find this green very lackluster, but I really keeping it for this color here. So I'm going to see what I have in my collection that compares, and if I have a green that is a dupe for that or similar enough, then I will declutter this. This last one from MAC is the Rockin' Rebel. A couple of years ago, they launched a whole series of palettes that included a highlighter. Let me just open that. This is the highlighter here. It doesn't really bother me that the shadows are all bigger and smaller circles. But I love this kind of teal color, and I love the look of how kind of smoky and like the colors in here were. This isn't going anywhere because I just want to still play with it. Okay. This next one is from Wayne Goss. This is the first one. This is the Imperial Topaz. This is fairly new to my collection as well. The one thing you'll get to know me for, one of the things that I love to purchase are eyeshadow palettes and foundations. Those are my two kind of weaknesses, I will have to say, when it comes to makeup. This is a beautiful, simple, kind of basic bitch type palette. What's special about this is the formulation. I do find Wayne has done a really nice job. It's high quality. It is an expensive palette, I'm not going to lie, especially for 6 pan. But I mean, this is a beautiful color and formulation. The black is actually really quite nice. And even though these are basic colors, the formula is really quite lovely. So that's not going anywhere. This is a really nice little palette, and I don't think, unfortunately, Milani carries it anymore, which is a shame. Because if you want a nice cool tone, minky, sultry palette, this is a nice one to purchase. It's all, as I mentioned, cool toned, and I love minky taupes. It's kind of one of my go-tos, and like even the blacks are really nice down here. If you can find it, I do highly recommend it, especially for a cool tone. I don't own Natasha Denona's Glam palette. I do have the mini, but I feel like if you are looking for that kind of a cool toned type, I have a few that I enjoy, but this is a really nice kind of, you know, gives the same feel, but without like the exact same kind of colors. But this has minky taupies, silvery kind of cool tone browns that that palette has as well. Let's talk about this one. This is from Zoeva. This is the Basic Moment, and it's very true to its name. It's extremely basic, but nice for those who, you know, want just a simple kind of look with some mauves and some neutrals and gold and what have you. I purchased this in Paris at the Paris Sephora on Champs-Élysées. Just put that in there because I'm just fancy. No, so I do obviously have sentimental kind of attachment to it, but I have so many other memories of that trip that I don't know if I necessarily need to hang on to a makeup product that I don't use. So this is going to probably be decluttered. Okay. So let's talk about Melt. So this is a huge one. I have 3 stacks in here from Melt. I'm just going to bring it out a little bit so you can get the full glory. In this little palette, I have the Dark Matter. This is one of their first stacks. I feel it was one of their first stacks. Either that or Rust, I can't remember. But this is a beautiful burgundy red. This black is like incredibly pigmented. And then they have these 2 kind of neutral type shades. The other stacks I have are She's in Parties and then the Gunmetal. These are still fairly newish, I say within the last couple of years. I don't feel the need to purchase the palette in this same color, even though there's some new colors there, because every color that I thought was quite unique to it is here. I do enjoy their stacks. Yes, they're hard to store, and I don't know if storing them in this is any better than keeping them in the stack formation. But at least this protects them, I feel like, a little bit maybe better. I just sometimes forget about them, which is unfortunate because they are beautiful. I find, from what I can tell in the reviews, the stack formulation is a little bit more consistent than the ones that are in the palettes. Although I do have 2 palettes from last year's holiday launch, and this is the Vida and the Muerte. These palettes are absolutely stunning. From the artwork to the color story, I love them. Like, these are not going anywhere anytime soon, if not just for the packaging, the packaging alone, but the color story and the quality of the shadows. They did such a fantastic job. It's absolutely beautiful. So these are not going anywhere. Okay, so I'm going to talk about some Dior. I have purchased only 2 of the Quints from Dior, to be honest with you. This is the newest one. This is Soft Cashmere, and they're kind of reformulated formulation. Really pretty. Again, a minky kind of color story. A nice, well, although I think the price is around the same as Natasha Denona. Similar kind of feel and vibe. The other one I have from Dior is in my collection somewhere, so I'll have to figure that one out at a later time. So this one is from Viseart, I believe. Never know how to say it. Let's just bring this down and in a little bit. There we go. So this is the neutral matte. This is an older palette because even the packaging is a little bit different. This isn't the magnetic packaging. I like it. People revere Viseart and their formulation of their shadows. I find them a little drier, and you can build them up. So they're really great, I think, for a more, what's the word I'm looking for? If you are a little more of a pro, I think Viseart will be your best friend. If you don't have time or don't want to build and build and build, then you might get frustrated and not quite understand the formula of Viseart. I do like it. Do I think it's worth the $100 Canadian price tag? No, I don't. But I think they are a good shadow, so that's not going anywhere. Urban Decay, this is the electric palette. This is a palette that Urban Decay did absolutely fantastically well. It consists of all these beautiful brights. This is considered a pressed pigment, not an eyeshadow. I just purchased mine a couple of years ago from, was it, I think, was it Nordstrom Rack? Had it on sale, so I picked it up from there, and I love it. So that's not going anywhere. This is the Kristen Leanne collaboration. I don't follow Kristen Leanne, but I hate the layout of this, which I think is one of the biggest complaints about this particular palette. The shadows themselves are actually quite wonderful. Incredibly pigmented, very, very saturated, need a little bit. I was drawn to this kind of corner over here with this blue, purple, and kind of tealy color, and I absolutely adore it. Yeah, I definitely didn't buy it for the collaboration. This is the original Naked. This is a very old palette in my collection. Don't know why I still have it around, because I definitely do not use it. I have this color story over and over and over again within my palette collection. Is it for sentimental reasons why I keep it? I have no freaking clue. But I'm going to declutter it. It has definitely, I don't know if it's because it was one of my first true palettes that I purchased, but there's no reason for me to save it, so it's going. These two are fantastic, the Naked Basics. One's a little bit cooler, one's a little bit more neutral tone. I've brought these on many a trip because I think they're great little basics when you want in a pinch. Not that I wear a lot of makeup when I'm on vacation, to be completely honest with you. These are very old though, and I do feel that I have better shadows. At one point in time, these were fantastic, but because of how shadows and their formulations are evolving and becoming a little bit more sophisticated and just better overall, I can get rid of these. This is the Gwen Stefani and Urban Decay collaboration. I will not get rid of this, just due to the fact it was a limited edition. I love the packaging, and I just think although it's basic up top in these two rows, I purchased it for this blue, this gold. It's definitely seen better days, and I'm not going to get rid of it. Just simple as that. This is their Vice 2 palette. I had their anniversary one, the one that came as a little slab and then like a jewelry box type. This is a shame because this is when actually Urban Decay had some really great palettes, and this is one of them. It has a beautiful kind of jewel tone, dark, deep colors, like this green right here and this one here. The black, and I mean, other than that, it's pretty standard. Like this pink is really actually quite nice, and same with this bronzy color. It's a very old palette, so I might have to get rid of it, but I will have to say that typically I don't have a lot to declutter because I do declutter throughout the year, especially palettes that I'm really not using or just dislike or have gone bad. So that's why you might not be seeing me get rid of a lot here. This one is a one-off. This is a Guerlain palette from years and years and years and years and years ago. This is a bronze, I think it was like a bronze, touche de bronze, number 280. So bronzy green kind of palette, very old. Like I wouldn't even put it in my eyes. So why am I keeping it? No idea. So it's going to be decluttered. Okay, this is my one and only Makeup Forever eyeshadow palette. I do enjoy Makeup Forever's eyeshadows This is when they first started making, this is the number 1. So this is more the neutral, bronzy, kind of cool tone. There's no mattes. These 2 are satins, and the rest are like diamonds, iridescents, metallics. I don't know why. I had this in my declutter my last time I decluttered, but I just find a lot of these look the same, especially on the eye, and they're okay. So I'm going to probably declutter this. This one is from Sugar Pill. This is their Cold Chemistry palette. I spoke about this in my Jewel Tone Grunge video. I primarily purchased this because of these 2 colors, but the whole palette is actually really good. At one point in time, you could purchase these as singles, and I do have a lot of other Sugar Pill singles. I do enjoy this, and I love these. These aren't going anywhere. Walhalla 2 is fairly new to my collection. I just purchased this about a month or so ago. Look at those vivid colors. This isn't going anywhere. I'm really happy with it. I'm happy with Juvia's Place overall. I think they're a phenomenal company. I love it. They're Black owned and woman owned, and the fact that they are just so incredibly high quality, and the price is just fantastic. So not going anywhere, Juvia's Place. None of these are going anywhere, so I might as well just preface it with saying that before any questions are asked. But I will show you them. So this is the chocolates, beautiful 6-pan, violets. I have to say the violets, purples are hard to formulate and use. Anyone will kind of tell you that. I find the same holds true. Like, I was really hoping that this would be incredibly pigmented and not get patchy, but I will have to say it does fall victim to that whole purple not being easy to formulate. And this is a taupes. Well, this looks pretty boring and it can be very pretty, and I think just if I want a no makeup, that's going to be a really pretty one to use. And then I have the Warrior palette, which is a nice bronzy gold palette. I love these types of shades. This was a nice alternative to the Natasha Denona bronze, and Juvia is always having a beautiful sale. This is the Deuce. This is, I feel like, their take on a pastel kind of palette. Really pretty. This is the Tribe. So happy they're not getting rid of this. A beautiful green palette. This is the Saharan 2. Look at that color story. Like, I love these round ones because I feel like this is where they excel because of the color stories. Like, look at those brights. They're fantastic. And then the Magic Mini. They had a bigger version of this, but I don't feel like I need it. These are beautiful. Like, their color stories are fantastic. How they put colors together just blows my mind. Those are gorgeous. So, I have only a few palettes by her. That doesn't belong there. I have the gold palette. This is probably one of my favorite palettes. Definitely not my favorite palette, but one of my favorite. I love the color story. I know it looks pretty like the colors look pretty similar, but they're not. This Dijon color is a gorgeous mustard. I love these 2 teal type colors. Those are great. I always love the look whenever I use this. So this is the gold, not going anywhere. This is Aries. This is my first, I think, Natasha Denona pan or palette. I love this red and this blue are stunning. I need to use this more often. And then I have her minis. I have the gold, this mini star, and the mini glam. Gold, I think this mini star is probably my favorite, the gold and then the glam. And then I have the Biba, which is okay. I do find that a lot of the looks, especially in these 2 right here, look the same, and then you have a cool tone here. But it is beautiful. I love the quality of the shadows. They are quite beautiful. So none of these are going anywhere. Okay, so this is my Color Pop little pile. I have the Honey. I don't have a lot of yellows in my collection. And this is a nice mixture of honeys and golden yellows and mustard kind of yellows. So I actually like that. Baroque, this is from the Dark Blooms. Love this. This is moody as hell and dark, and just love this. Like, look at those kind of colors. There's cool two, like, these two are duochrome and they're beautiful. Gray, blue, slatey. I love the artistry in it, like in terms of the packaging. And then this is the collab with Robert E. Christie at Force Sight. This isn't going anywhere, but I just wanted to show you, like, I'm sure you've seen it a million times, but like those colors are beautiful. And then Blue Moon is their blue 9 pan, which is really pretty. None of those are going anywhere. So, Miss Pat McGrath. I only have 2 Pat McGrath palettes. I purchased both of these last year around this time. They were having a sale on this particular palette. I love these kind of colors, minky bronzes, not going anywhere. And then this is, to me, a collector's edition of the Decadence. Star Wars was coming out, and look at like those kind of jewel tones, not going anywhere, ever. So then I have some KVD Beauty. I feel like I can actually use these now. There was some guilt, to be honest with you. I didn't want to ever talk about. This was one of the holiday, so you can see the metal and matte. I have to say I love the artwork. That has been, oh, we don't need to see that. That has been one thing that has attracted me to KVD right from the beginning. I used to have more of her palettes. I have since decluttered quite a few actually, but these are the ones that had remained. So that's the metal matte. This is the Saint and Sinner, and I'm sorry, like I know I shouldn't, but we can use them now because she's no longer involved, right? So I'm sorry, like I know people really hated this palette, but I think it's actually quite beautiful. So I'm not going to get rid of this at all. And then this is the 10-year anniversary. Again, she does do beautiful artwork. And then it's like a beautiful kind of a rainbow. It does have some duochromes like this one. This green is really pretty. I might have to compare it to the one that I mentioned in that MAC palette. And then this blue. And her shadows have generally been really, really good in terms of formulation. So I'm going to test them out, but I don't think I want to get rid of them. Kaleidos, or Kaleidos, I should say, however you pronounce it. I only have 2. I think I want to look maybe into getting more, but I'm going to go on a low buy. So I'll see what my budget is. So this is this is probably one of my favorite ones. When I look at the collection, but this is one I use the most. This is the Sci-Fi Green, kind of nice grungy gold. Like this black is amazing. Like these are gorgeous. These aren't going anywhere. So this is the Subculture. This is, I think, the reformulated one. I mentioned this in my my grunge and jewel tone palettes. I love this color story, and I find the formulation fine. To be honest with you, I know people love to hate it. Sultry, really cool packaging. Again, a nice alternative to the Natasha Denona Glam. If you already have this kind of palette, you may not need that one. It has nice cool tones. Soft Glam is probably my least favorite, to be honest with you, out of the ones I own. I have those kind of colors, but it's beautiful nonetheless. Prism palette, I think, is it was a holiday palette. I really like the color story. Again, the formulation is fine. And then this is the Modern Renaissance that started it off, I feel. And then really pretty. Now, I have to say, I'm not going to get rid of any of these. I'm not a collectionist. I don't feel like I have to collect them all. I used to be that way, but then I really started not liking the color stories that they were producing. But I have to say that ABH is probably not my favorite formulation for shadows, but they're still good, if that makes any sense. I'm just trying to look around to see if I have any more palettes here, because I think that's actually it. I'm actually quite surprised. I thought I had a hell of a lot more palettes in my collection, but this is it. that's it. So I'll just kind of go over the ones that I'm going to get rid of. So, I mean, I'm not going to get rid of a lot because, as I've already mentioned, I kind of throughout the year declutter as I go, because I'm bringing new palettes into my collection. But, you know, I'm getting rid of, there's one that fell on the floor, just a second. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Where's the silver one? And the silver version of this one here. You know, that's okay. I mean, is it a crazy declutter like some people have? No, but I also don't have crazy amounts. Like, I don't have hundreds and hundreds of palettes. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this, and give me a thumbs up. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your holidays with your lovely family and friends. And take care and stay safe. Bye.